Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Lara, and today I will be reviewing the Folk of the Year series by Holly Black. I will talk about how I learned about this book, what they're about, what I liked about them, some negative reviews I saw which I'm not fully agree, and generally my attitude towards this type of book. So let's start a little bit with what it's about. It's enemies to lovers fairy romance with a bit of politics and intrigue of every court, but not too much. Which, by the way, was one of the reasons that some people didn't like, because for them it was like not the most interesting intrigues and politics that exist out there in fairy romance genre. But it's like good enough, I think. They're full of two main heroes. The main heroine is Jude. She's human, but she lives and was basically raised all her life in fairy world. And humans, they are regarded as less by fairy. They fairy can control people through magic, to have like people human as slaves. So yeah, and she feels powerless and wants, but she wants to feel powerful basically. The other main hero is Cardan, who is a prince of the fairy. He's like fifth prince. He has no chance for the throne. He drinks all the time. He causes trouble, and basically he bullies Jude. She fights back, so it's more enemies than bullying romance. By the way, so that's all I can tell you without any spoilers. By the way, like, here you can see there is three scenes which I really like. I really wish more books had this. Like what's in it, and here is Assassin Betrayal Lover. And second one is Temptation Betrayal Lover, and third one is Curse Betrayal Lover. So I read first book in two sittings, like 2 days, and the remaining two in one night. I barely slept, but I'm really glad I finished it, like 4 or 5 hours. So first one, we'll learn about her main character. By the way, all three books are from the point of view of the Jude. So we learned about her motivation, what she wants. We see some interactions like between her and Cardan. There is some settings for the relationship between her and the sister and her father, like ad- adoptive father, like who's fairy. So there is family relationship, her relationship with Cardan. This is not a relationship, but enemies relationship, and some setting for the intrigue politics part. By the way, that was one of the comments I saw from the people who didn't like this book as much. Is that politics and like intrigues and so on maybe not as deep, not as developed as in some other books. Like I think they're really comprehensive. They're really good for these books, not to overpower like the main relationship points or theme, but also add plot. But yeah, if you're looking something like so much intrigue, who is it, who did it, constant betrayal of one by another, like it's not really there, like few betrayals and so on, but so I think people read it more for the relationship than for the plot. Yeah. Second one, which was I think my favorite, because here we already there is some acknowledgement that there is something going on between the main characters. So there are much more this recurring tension. There's some beautiful quotes. I don't know, really, like I have the most annotations here about this. I don't think I can say anything without spoilering. But yeah, it's something like I hate you. Like I remember this one from here. Like I hate you. Say it again. Said he in the report. Something like that. So yeah, there is continuation of the plot line, but there is the most of this tension dynamics, which I want for. And the last one is mostly plot based, so the ending of all the plot line. But also, like in this one, we already see that they acknowledge that they're together, kind of way. So the last one was more of a plot, but still really good again 4 and 5 stars. So in general, why I like it? It's I escaped, like escape is happened. Uh, it wasn't too emotionally hard in terms of I have problems with some books because I want to be engaged. I want to what's next, what's going on, so but I want to be at the point of view when I'm so much tempted just to look on the last page and know how it ended. That I can function, and it doesn't happen here. It's like I would be able to put it down and like, oh, I would still, oh, what's next? But I would be able to function, maybe read something else. So it's balanced in this way. I really like tension between main characters because I think it's quite good. Like it wasn't too direct. Like I love you, but I hate you. Like it wasn't cartoonish. Then I understand the motivation of main characters. It also was really good. There was no problematic things that I saw. There was no something like sexism undertones or like uh, in some of this type of the book there is like she's um, a woman and a man and there is some nothing of such sort happen. Uh, it was cruel to some extent, which I also really like because in there is tendency for these books to they say like very accrual, but at the same time like nothing really happens. Like maybe they play a few bad jokes, but nothing. And there is quite a few moments. It's not like it's dark. There's it's not that there is scores on each chapter on in each page, but there are quite a few like moments or like ooh happened which are also realized. There's plot, there is romance. I like it. So let's move to by the way, small intermission, which I forgot to say in the beginning, that I learned about this book and how I decided to read it after not reading like fantasy for quite a while. I don't have TikTok because it's super addictive. I cannot put it down, but I watch those compilations on YouTube, and there was this booktube compilation videos specifically about this book. It was quotes, some role playing, cosplay, and also like convincing to read this book by aesthetic, and I was convinced. I haven't seen any negative reviews at that point. I don't know, it was released in 2018, but I saw this book maybe in one review before that, and I saw only positive reviews. Yeah. Negative comments. I understand why some people might not like it. First of all, it's genre not for everyone. Not everyone like enemies to lovers. Not everyone loves fairy worlds, whatever. Um, then there is this point with intrigue that for some people want more, some people want less. Like I understand why like any moment we say like I would prefer to watch like that or like I would prefer to read about like I don't know more confident like these characters. So in no way form I say like this absolute masterpiece. Everyone should read it, and everyone saying like negative reviews are absolutely crazy. But there was like two reviews that I would to mention and try. First one I saw on Instagram. It was some recommendation. I haven't saved it, so I cannot say what exactly said it. But they mentioned that most people read this type of book, enemies to lovers, for eventual sex scenes. So there's tension and fun. They have somebody hating or like this type of thing. It doesn't really happen here. There's one, maybe two sex scenes, but it's like half a page without any detail. So, like, as a sexual person who much prefer like plotline and tension and romance, I haven't even noticed it to be a problem, but I understand why it might be a valid concern for people who expect it to be this tension to be resolved in smutty way. And another was a review. Unfortunately, I do not remember her name because her handle, on YouTube, is not her name. And it's really hard for me to remember. She makes amazing videos. I really like to watch her. But this was a video about like popular books I didn't like or something like that. And she mentioned this book. And like some of the what she said, I can understand. Like she was really overhyped. She didn't wasn't like really interested in politics so much. Whatever, I understand. But then she said something like, "Have you even read the same book?" Like she said that she didn't understand motivation of main hero, something like that. And I was like, whoa, because that was one of the reasons I like it so much. So I I will be holding books like that during talking about your motivation. So if it's something you consider that it would be spoiling, you can like miss or go to the point where I put them down. But otherwise, I will be talking about her motivation, uh, but still without much spoilers. You move it, you can go. Huh? So we can definitely see, first of all, while she is human, she definitely doesn't belong to human world. She was raised in a fairy world. She has values of fairy world, and she basically cannot imagine herself what she would do in human world. There are a few scenes when they talk about let's go to like human world, and you can definitely see well she thinks that she kind of like have to because they were forced to go there, and she that cannot imagine that fairy world is her world. At the same time, she feels powerless. There are quite a few moments happen that prove that she is powerless. When fairies put her under spells or something like that, and they constantly say like, "You're mortal. You're destined to die." Basically, bully her, and there's like human slaves, and it's like normal in the world. At the same time, she wants to be as them. There is this quote: "If I cannot be better, I will be so much worse," which I think like amazing because it encapsulates like she wants to be not even just as good as fairies, but better than them. But at the same time, fairies are cruel. So even and if she cannot be like accepted as good as them, she will become worse. I mean, so there is that, and all of this combined, and she like has ambitions. She wants to be powerful in the fairy world, and I think this explains all her actions. Yeah, basically, her motivation is so clear for me and so understandable. It's one of the best written motivation because uh, they're not just sad. She just said, "I want to be powerful," but they also shown by her history, by her what happened to her, by her actions. That's her motivation. So I don't know. Maybe in that case, that YouTuber like was in a different mood, was really overhyped, was looking for another things. I know how it can be happen. Like when you read book, expecting it to be like romance or intrigue, you're looking for those things, and it can look something else. But believe me, there is motivation there. It's really about one of the best written motivations for this type of books. Uh, but yeah, um, I will repeat the quote like if I cannot be better, I will be so much worse. It's like the tone can be, it should be somewhere like not whatever reviews they have. This hold it like is a fairy queen, maybe, but there should be that here. And yeah, so that's about negative reviews and a little bit about me and fantasy books because after reading this, I want to read something similar. And so that's the problem I have had with fantasy for a long time. So, when I was a child, like first of all, I read only books which I had, like children books and so on. However, like later, I really was my escapism phase. I would read anything that would let me escape this whole, and it was mostly fantasy. However, first of all, my parents wouldn't buy me like any books I wanted. They were like quite expensive. It was like a rare occasion, so there was that. So libraries and so on, which would be available for me, they would feel like our libraries are not really great here. You would have like maybe like one book or fifth book in the series, and some old series. Those are not really popular. Like I was really limited in that regard. So I'm often I also couldn't speak English well at the time. So I was mostly reading in Russian, and not everything is translated was translated. Like there was nothing in Ukrainian, only Russian. And also, I remember this was a huge series of Russian fantasy written by fantasy authors, and it was like really like it was never go. Maybe it would go, but it was not books that go like top book by New York Times. It's more like like in airports you have these books that in really bad quality printed, and they're like and I would read one by one by one. I didn't remember any names, plots. I can barely remember like plot lines. If I would want to like return to the book, I often couldn't because I couldn't remember how it was called. I also would read one book like 50 times. I do not exaggerate. I would read like I like Harry Potter, which like was one of the only like popular books available for me. I read so much that at some point I couldn't really read it because I would read the words and I could quote like every like not just retell but literally say each other word. So yeah, I would have kind of that moment, and then I find a fiction for myself, which allowed me a lot of similar things to achieve. Escapism, it's never ending, so, full of things I can read. I can reread the same story which I really like in many different variations, with more and more, finding more and more satisfying ending. Development of the things. And other thing that happened that I decided that I need to read adult books, so non-fiction and some contemporary. That was a not great phase. Yeah. However, when I thought like, and it's not like haven't read fantasy at all, like read Terry Pratchett, but like a little bit different. So, uh, for example, I read this book, and I want to read something else. Problem I'm having, for example, for each fantasy book, there is people that would swear is the best book ever and everyone should read it. It's like someone describes a book as like, "Ooh, sounds nice," and then you scroll like lower and you see like 5 reviews. Like, think that book by it's horrible. And I think maybe, which is my second point. For the first one, it's really hard to say like which book is good, and I don't want to spend money on something I know I will hate. I have kind of trouble with DNS in books. I also don't want to struggle like emotionally through some horrible things. And my second point of view that a lot of those books have something problematic in them. There is this trope, the woman and the man, and like this sexism, chauvinism, whatever. the really weird motivations when um, main characters are just acting stupid, and it's so dissatisfying. Like if you just stop, if you weren't stupid, if you just followed the rules. So this type, and there's a lot of so overwhelming. So, for example, I read Fairy Romance. The other fairy romance that is really popular is a Thrones and Roses. I think the series is called. And so many people like swear is the best book ever. They it has like 4 point something reviews on Goodreads with hundreds of thousands people read it. At the same time, people leave in negative reviews, and I'm not sure. Do I want to struggle through that? Like main character who constantly doing what she was told not to, and get in trouble for that. So she's not just like I will break rules for but like create a good. No, she's just act stupid or like I don't remember. I watched so many negative reviews of that book that I already cannot process. And also like constant repetition, like of this book. There's the author keeps repeating one thing after other. So yeah, I really, in the conclusion, let's conclude this long story. I really like it. I would like to hear your thoughts. If you have any other recommendation in similar genre, stories, just fantasy, some romance, I'm glad to hear it. I would really, really like to hear it. Um, Hello. Um, it was great to have you here. I hope to see you more. So please like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And see you soon with more book reviews. I already made quite a few book hauls. And I have a little not. Can you see it? Yeah, the orange one. Saying that I'm not allowed to buy more books this month. Also, not all books came yet, so I probably will have to extend book buying ban for one more month. Um, so now I started reading books and reviewing them. Um, so please stay tuned. If you have any videos you would like to see, maybe recommendations, maybe you reading some specific books or challenges, please let me know. I would glad to give it to you. So again, was glad to have you. A virtual hug to you. Bye.